Item number 10, conduct of business. We have three items, A, B, and C. The first one is to adopt a resolution increasing the capital improvement project appropriation for the sanitary sewer condition assessment project by $440,000 for a total appropriation of $1,435,000. We're going to adopt these separately, but I'll read them all now. The second is adopt a resolution authorizing the city manager to amend the contract with Viola, formerly JF Pacific Liners, increasing the contract amount by $319,000 for a total contract amount of $1,239,000 for sanitary sewer condition assessment project and approving a total construction contingency in the amount of $63,000. And number three is adopt a resolution authorizing the city manager to approve a contract with Holmes International in an amount not to exceed $97,000 for sanitary sewer condition assessment project support and oversight. Staff, please.
Honorable Mayor, Council Member, good evening. In our presentation, I will go over the purpose of the project in the beginning. Then I will let Dennis Bosch, the service manager for sewer, to take you through the process, how this will is working in the real life. And then I will come back to take you through the history of this project and our recommendation. As you are very well aware of, the city provides sanitary collection services for the residents of our city. And as any sewer system operator, the city has to manage our system effectively in a certain given regulatory environment. The Water Board back in 2006 issued an order setting clear expectation how those sewer system operators has to manage their system and to meet certain regulatory requirements. In addition to the environment, regulatory environment also is critical for our ratepayers to manage our system for a lower possible overall cost. Reason why is important for us to proactively, as much as possible, assess the problems in the system and to try to address them with, in proactive manner to minimize the cost. If you are reacting to any and you are fixing the problem, overall will cost the ratepayer more versus if you proactively address those issues. The most commonly known assessment tool, how you are assessing the condition of the system, is the video inspecting, videoing the system. You are using then this information to prioritize the work what you need to do on the system. You are prioritizing the work for spot repair or line replacement or different type of maintenance activity as is needed. I will let Dennis to take you through a few video inspection to show you how that information can be used.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So again, as Clara said, that basically this is video inspection of sewer lines or sewer mains and some laterals where a robotic camera is put into the line and it travels from one manhole to another, inspecting any and all problems. Sometimes the lines are good, sometimes they're not. As you can see on the left, this is an area where pipe is missing. You can see basically the pipe close to you, it's cylindrical, and then there's a void, and then you can see the cracked pipe on the other side of the void. Basically what's happened here is that the clay pipe has failed, and dirt above the area of failure then sinks down, and usually a lot of the times the mains are in the street, so you have vibration from cars pushing down the dirt, and then eventually a sinkhole forms. In this case, this pipe failure caused almost a 2-foot void up on top of the asphalt that we were lucky enough a car didn't drive along and have a wheel fall into it. You can also see on the picture on the left that there's debris, pipe pieces, rocks, dirt, and if we hadn't have caught this, I mean, in this case we were able to see a sinkhole, but when those things accumulate, it stops the sewage from flowing freely, and it eventually causes a backup or a sanitary sewer overflow. On the right is an area where you have a pretty good cylindrical pipe, but then there's a crack or a missing piece of pipe that roots have found an entry into the line, and the root then grows, and it can grow to the point where it actually blocks total flow, and it also can trap solids as it goes by. So it again makes a blockage. So in these two cases, the one on the left, that's obviously a repair that we need to do. The one on the right, we might not have to cause or use money to dig that, but we could hit that with maintenance tools to remove the roots. And then once the roots are removed, then we can put the camera back in and then reassess it. The picture on the left it's hard to see, but this is basically grease that has compounded on itself to almost take up almost half of the pipe. So again, this can tell us that there might be a problem farther down the line. We obviously need to remove the grease so that we restore the flow area within the pipe. So once we would remove that, we could use that information to assess whether or not is the next time we go to clean it, is this happening more often than not? Is it once every couple of years? Is this a repair that's needed? Can we hit this with a maintenance schedule?
Dennis, are these all the same diameter pipes, or are they different?
The one on the left here is a lateral. If we go back, I believe those were mains. The one on the left was a main, and the one on the right was a main.
Which is diameter-wise?
6 inch.
6 inch.
6 inch. Basically, though, even though one's a main, one's a lateral, a lot of the properties still stay the same of the characteristical problem. I explained the picture on the left. On the right, there's actually two problems here. You could see that the pipe connection to the top left corner, it's cracked and it's become offset. So it's as if you were to take a straight pipe, cut in the middle, and then move one down and move one up. There's also silt in the pipe, which means that sometimes when you have offsets, dirt, rocks, debris comes down through those cracks and then settles out. So on this case, we would go ahead and we remove the silt first to try to see if there was any other problems. And then we obviously know that there's a crack there, and I would have to look farther back to see, okay, is this just one spot repair, or are there 6 on this one, what we refer to as a line segment, a sewer main between 2 manholes? And how far and how much money and how much energy are we going to devote, and what's the best bang for the buck in the sense of fixing one spot or fixing a larger area so that we don't have to come back and work towards our goal of reducing sanitary sewer overflows.
I will take you through the history of the project itself. Back in 2007, based on the need and also on the set requirement, the city went out for a bid and entered in a contract with the contractor to video inspect the known 63-mile sewer system at that time. Was only just one contractor proposed to our bid document, and the city entered in a contract, 5-year contract with the contractor, Pacific Pipeline, to video inspect the whole system, estimated at time for 63 miles. The unit price was $275 per linear feet of video inspection. Our information system for our sewer system was improved in the last few years, and our GIS system was updated, and our level of information about our sewer system is much higher today versus back in 2007. Reason why became obvious at the end of this inspection process that 22 additional mile of sewer system exist, and that those additional 22 mile of system needs to be inspected also. And that is the purpose of and the recommendation for tonight, to extend the contract for the video inspection of this additional 22 mile of sewer system with the same unit price how the city entered in contract with Pacific Pipeline back in 2007 for the same 2.75 per linear feet. Also based on the degree still of a certain uncertainty about the information on our sewer system, is our recommendation to include a 20% contingency to the contract if something will come up during the implementation of this contract, that additional segments need to be inspected to have enough flexibility in the contract to inspect the whole system. Already received some question, and maybe our report was a little bit misleading about the need for our third action request to enter in a consultant contract in project management support with Holmes International. The reason for our request to enter in a consultant contract with Holmes International, one of the known wastewater experts in the field, is for them to provide us with quality control and expertise support for the following task. They will review all of the video inspection for the most severe classified defects in our system, in order for us to be able to prioritize those repair or actions based on our time limitations set by the baykeepers. In our agreement with the baykeepers, certain time limit was set for those severe defects, in how long time those need to be addressed. This consultant will reassess those video inspected sections to verify if those were classified properly and what is the proper repair for that defect will be. Also, to take the remaining of the video inspections and just verifying from a quality point of view a certain number of selected videos, just to make sure that the city is receiving the quality product, what is the expectation for us to receive. The other task what they will help us with to make sure that at the end of this project, the city will have a searchable database to be able to easily prioritize the work needed to be done as a follow-up from the result of this condition assessment. Also, as a additional, they will also help us to schedule the work just to make sure that no segment of our system will be left uninspected. These three additional fund requests will be a total of $404,000 increase to our existing appropriation. The prior appropriation for this project was a $900,000 initially when the contract was approved in 2007. This would be the additional construction cost for $319,000 for the additional 22 miles. The 20% proposed contingency would be $63,000. Initially, when the construction contract was approved in 2007, also was included in our CIP for 2007 and 9, and still approved in our last CIP in 2009 and 10, a $75,000 appropriation for project support and oversight. From that appropriated $75,000, still $39,000 available. With that additional fund request of $58,000, then will provide us with a $97,000 consultant contract for project oversight and support with Holmes International, and this will bring the total project cost to a $1,435,000 total project cost. Our recommendation is for you to approve the additional appropriation of $440,000 to our CIP project. Also to authorize the city manager to amend the construction contract with the proposed $319,000. Also for you to approve the contingency project for contingency budget of $63,000, and to authorize the city manager to enter in a contract with Holmes International for a not to exceed amount of $97,000 for critical project support and quality oversight for this project. This concludes our presentation, and if you have any question of us.
Well, I just have one question or comment. I know it's a relatively small amount as far as footage or mileage goes, but I want to make sure that we're not having to video anything in the Crestmore-Glenview area.
All of the video inspection in Crestmore area was done about a year ago, and the purpose at that time was that was part of the ongoing inspection of the system, but the information also was used to support the recommendation what the stamp came back to you for recommendation to replace the system. But that Crestmore neighborhood was inspected about a year ago as part of this ongoing go-around inspection of the whole system citywide.
Any questions of staff?
Just on your question, Mr.
Right.
Mayor, you said about a year ago it was done.
Yes. About a year ago. I can further define, I can look
I
at
think the city manager knows
exactly
why
the date, the
Maybe I got
date.
lost somewhere in the question and the answer.
If I could just interject, you may remember that in that time period, we were still actively in the process of evaluating the status of the infrastructure and the amount of damage that might have occurred as a result of the explosion and resulting fire. So it was done as part of the ongoing inspection program, but it also predated the decision-making and informed the decision-making about replacement of the entire Crestmore infrastructure, which had not yet been a year ago or thereabouts. That decision-making and information gathering was still actively in process.
Michael?
Sorry, I wanted to say I think it's great that the city's taking such a proactive stance in collecting the information. I know that there's already a wealth of information that's been collected that's now in a database, and this video system is going to add on to it. I hope my colleagues will indulge me here, but I am intrigued by what's going on. So I do have some questions and in terms of how this works, and I think you partially answered one of my questions in terms of the contingency, and you said that would be for additional segments should they be discovered. And so I was a little bit curious about how the initial estimate was developed, the additional that was discovered, how that was discovered that it existed, and why we would suspect that there's additional segments that we may not know about.
This is tied directly to the evolution of our information about our sewer system. The sewer division, unlike other division in the city, in the last few years, we were focusing on improving very aggressively our GIS system, GIS information of our system. Back in 2001, as part of our first master plan, a digital map of the system itself was produced, but based on everybody's experience, that the degree of reliability of that information wasn't very high. Reason why was a very concerted effort to improve and to develop our GIS information, and was certainly based on great work done by the sewer division, and this is true for water and stormwater also. They were able to improve reliable information and the whole GIS information for our sewer system now is probably reliable to 95%. That would be my closest estimate, how reliable our GIS system is now for sewer. Back in 2007, that was not available. And the reason why not knowing, just estimating now is a matter of knowing what is the length of our system.
Okay. And is that the only construction risk? I think in the staff report the word construction risk was used, so I was wondering if there are actual construction type activities, or are these cameras basically lowered down in through a manhole and then allowed to run through the system?
That would be the only risk what I am aware at this time. If they have any problem that they cannot get the camera out or they are stuck or something, then typically our sewer division will respond and to help them to address the problem. But the reason why I think that that's still a degree of uncertainty, this is the first project when the city is doing our overall assessment of the system, and it's just maybe there will be other issues which are unknown to us right now. If will be not necessary, then of course the contingency is not spent.
Okay. Yeah, I just did a quick calculation, and at the present rate, it comes out to about $14,000 per mile. So our contingency would probably buy us about 4.5 miles, maybe. So we're comfortable that we've got it nailed down to that level of accuracy.
And will be our intent not to use $1 of that contingency if will not be necessary.
Okay. Okay. And you did just mention that this is the first go-around with this, and so I was wondering about the 5-year cycle. So the proposal is to every 5 years re-inspect all 100% of every sewer?
It is a set cycle. How you have to come back and to re-inspect the whole system. Also, there are many other requirements that after any repair, you have to re-inspect that segment whenever you are doing a repair, or after a SSO, you have to come back and to re-inspect the system. How that will be managed from now on after finishing this inspection of the system will depend on many things. First, you have to assess, okay, what is the degree of the problem in the system, and then it's included right now in our CIP budget for future years purchase, a purchase of the video inspection equipment. Many cities, most of the cities went in that direction to really establish that skill set in their agency and to be able to rely on that on ongoing basis. How the city will manage this on long term was not discussed or decided until more information is not available for us, what really are the most critical issues and problems which will need to be addressed based on the result of this overall assessment of the system.
Okay. So there's a possibility maybe somewhere down the line we could contract with another city and have them do that for us.
Yes, it is very possible now in interim basis. Is our intent to do as the next step after this video inspection of the whole system will be done? Is our intent to go out for a on-call kind of contract who can help us after any SSO or any repair just to come in and to inspect? In the same time, right now is the city in discussion and with City of South City if how they could help. They have equipment and they are just training their employee. They are just improving their own skill set. That's why they are not at the level when they can make any commitment yet. But yes, that one other avenue what the city will research if that is a viable alternative. In the same time, with the other alternative, what would be the better long-term solution for the city to establish that skill set internally or to be provided by somebody else.
Okay. But getting back to the the whole system then, do we repeat the overall inspection on a periodic basis, or only when changes are made to the system?
Will need to be repeated on ongoing basis.
Okay. And then as we schedule that, will that be based on, do we basically go back to the first segment that we did in the first go-around and then just go by the oldest video, or do we get strategic and target areas where we found problems, and then areas that we know for a fact are going to be good or they're newer, then we would just eliminate those from inspection?
In long term, you will have to do both. You have to do the strategic targeted review based on the problem area. Also, you will have to go back on ongoing basis after a longer time frame, but to make sure that you are catching all of those preventive needs, what you would not catch any other way.
And it seems like the real value in this system is real time. Basically, you run the thing, you find a problem, and you fix it. But historically, it becomes less and less valuable because between two rainy seasons, you could have a clean pipe, and by the next year, it's a problem.
Correct. Will be more challenging now in the beginning when, based on this so much new information, the city is just starting this many new programs. Like the spot repair. You just approved a very, very aggressive spot repair program exactly for this reason, that when this inspection will show that you have 50 locations, which must be that are structurally deficient or they have a offset, and they pose a imminent risk for SSO. Then, based on our agreement with the baykeeper and industry standards, you have to fix that problem in 90 days. And it's a difference time frame set in 1 year if those are not imminent failure. Either you have to fix in 2 years or to come back with another inspection after a year to confirm that still is a stable defect and nothing can happen. Well, to address all of those needs now discovered and as the result of that overall inspection, will take a very concerted effort for the next 2 years until somehow the city will catch up with many of this work which will need to be done now. In longer term, that basically those peaks will basically just will be leveled out and will be a more pre-planned, pre-programmed kind of activity. Even then will be a certain percentage of reactive emergency things, but hopefully that will be much less as percentage versus now, until after the city will catch up.
Okay.
I will just say, just to show you that this really is working, that I just want to take the opportunity to say that last year, after many years of 50 and 40 SSOs in a year, last year were only just 18, and up until today, this year, only just 9 SSOs were experienced by the city, and this year were 2 months without any SSO, which was the first in our history. That I just want to compliment the hard work that the sewer division really is doing.
Do you know of the SSOs that were, or problem areas that were identified? How many of those were identified because of the video versus other things like a giant sinkhole was on top of them?
Maybe you can answer this question, thanks.
3.
That was
Great
a
answer.
pretty precise answer. I cannot top that.
Okay. Okay. I also had a question regarding the contract for oversight of the system. Initially, in the first contract, $75,000 was allocated. We only used $36,000. So I was wondering how that particular contractor is billing. Is it based on trouble spot that was identified and they were called in to comment on?
For the prior phase, wasn't any contract entered in for project management and support. 2 different sewer experts supported us for different tasks, and the department asked them during that time to perform very specific tasks to support us during up to this point.
Okay. Because I was looking at what that broke down per mile of sewer that was inspected, and it's dramatically different now with this new allocation of 97,000. For the remaining 20-something miles, it seems like a lot more expensive for the amount of work that's being done.
Yes, but you are absolutely right in the sense that this work and support is not really just for the 22 miles. It's for the whole system. Now is the key to make sure that that searchable database is available to us in a user-friendly way for the whole system, not just for the 22 miles, but the whole system. And also the consultant right now will review that 50 locations for the most severe classifying defects for the whole system, not just for the 22 mile. That this really is a little bit a misrepresentation of the effort needed. It's very critical to have this data available to us in a usable manner. This is a huge quantity of data. And you want the data to be useful for our planning and of CIP and maintenance activity. And the consultant helping us to make sure that is easily searchable. The department doesn't have that. That work is highly technical, also is very highly technical work to review and to assess based on the industry standard if the contractor classifying that defect in a right way. They are certain industry standard, they are fine difference category, and how they are, what category they are including is very critical and important. What kind of follow-up action will require, and important for us to have that kind of technical expertise. This expertise will need to be nurtured and improved in the city. But this is a new activity for us, and it's important for us to have that kind of expertise support available.
Okay. And so then the previous work that was done for the 36,000 was not related to quality control of the video, it was something else?
Was also to a certain degree, but was based on more task-oriented, that they were asked to help us to assess how much percentage of the system already was inspected, certain selected quality control also included some quality control if the database meet the set expectation of the city or not, and also they reviewed some of the video themselves and made a recommendation based on that review also.
Okay. All right, thank you. And Mayor Ruane asked previously about the diameter of the pipes that we were looking in the video, and you mentioned that there were laterals and mains. So the 85 miles that we're quoting currently, that is all mains and laterals, or lower laterals, I guess they would be? Is that what's included?
It's just mains.
Just mains?
Yeah, mains.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no existing data on or historical files on which houses were given the correct specified cleanout that we take the jurisdictional responsibility for maintenance or for clearing a blockage or considering that. You can't get a main camera down a lateral. You have to use a smaller lateral camera, which
Say that you have one.
which we have.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is there any plan for creating a catalog of those videos?
There are 1,900. There's 1,900 sewer line segments, and since we don't know the exact number, we believe it to be last time we thought possibly around 30%. But if we were to take that on, that would bring a new discussion on resources to have a preventative maintenance plan. Since we don't know where they all are at, it would be tough to do that. The ones that are problems we know, and I have a preventative maintenance program for us to remove the roots and do some of the things we do in mains on the smaller 4-inch laterals. So there is a preventative, proactive solution for that. But if everyone in the city were to install laterals, let's just say, over a 5-year period, that would have a significant effect.
And it is our plan to video inspect the laterals for which the city is responsible for.
Okay.
And also, just to remind you that you authorized the development of a private lateral policy.
Yeah, where is
And
that?
that is the consultant provided us with a first draft, and will be our intent to bring back to you some recommendation in the next many months.
Okay. Okay, and it sounds like there probably wouldn't be a whole lot of value in having that information, because or the majority of those laterals are the responsibility of the homeowners, and I'm assuming that our agreement with the baykeeper doesn't hold us responsible for any SSOs that occur because of the laterals.
They are not holding us responsible for any SSO which are taking place on private lateral. But the city is responsible for SSO on lower lateral, where the city took responsibility of,
Okay.
which is about 30% of the lateral, how Dennis Bosch said.
Okay, well, thank you very much. And thank you for indulging me.
Good. Anyone else? Rico?
Through the chair, going back to the 22 miles, just so I understand too, is due to the system or not having the high-tech stuff in place, it was an assumption of around 63 miles. We're 22 miles short. When I was reading before, if I'm not mistaken, in the state complaint or in the quality board, there was an allusion. They alluded to about 77 miles that we had in the city. So I'm trying to wonder how they came up with about 77, but we were at two different numbers. Now, granted, I understand that doesn't mean it has to be exact, but there's a wide enough difference that how did they figure it out in 2011, and we're now coming back and obviously are short 22 based on data that we have, that we've implemented, and when did we come up with we were missing 22 miles?
Our process with the regional board, and I will go back, but I'm pretty sure that's how, if that's what you remember, that's the mileage what was included in our agreement.
Don't go off my memory, though.
That was based on our information provided to them, and that really meant, but that process took place in 2009, 2010, and that was the level of knowledge of our system at that time, and that information was provided to them. Last year was really finalized our GIS information system, and that is the most reliable information what the city has.
Is there a deadline for this taping to be concluded? The videoing, as you call it?
Yes, it is. It is included. Well, was included in is included in our agreement with the baykeepers. That based on our initial contract, all of the video inspection has to be finished by end of June.
Of this year?
Of this year.
So this month, all the videoing has to be done, and we're short 22 miles, is what we're saying.
That was included in our agreement, knowing that is more mileage than how initially was intended to. the city informed them and asked them to consider that is more mileage to perform video inspection on than initially assumed, and they agreed with a time extension of end of July, and it's our intent to finish this inspection of the whole system by end of July.
When did we realize that there was 22 miles that we needed to deal with?
A few months ago.
What's a few mean? Just help me, because to me a few means two.
End of February.
February.
Thank you. I appreciate those succinct answers. Thanks. Okay, so we have till the end of June. So how are we? Oh, July now, because we've asked for an extension. So have the video folks been proceeding? Have they been going? Because I'm thinking now in my mind, I'm going, that's what that was. But this was on a weekend, I think. So are they working, or is it just weekdays? Is it weekdays? Is there one crew? Is there how many crew? How are we doing this? Because obviously there's a short period of time now.
Correct. In the last month or so, they had 3 crews working on ongoing basis, only just during the weekdays. The city did not authorize any work for them during weekends. They are going with about 3 miles a week, and based on our estimate and their estimate, they will be able to finish the work by the end of July.
So we've embarked upon this a couple of years ago, but now we're having 3 crews coming out. So what a layperson would say is somehow we got behind, because now we're having 3 crews come out. I don't know if that's normal, standard practice, that 3 crews are devoted to taping, but I think obviously we're on a deadline. So we're having to step it up in order and use their resources in order to meet that deadline.
The resources, the unit price is paid, the same unit price is paid to them today than how much was paid for linear feet of video inspection 4 years ago. Doesn't cost us any more money. The city pays them the same unit cost.
Okay. And in your report about the, I'll call it consultant, they manage, they review, they determine the most severe, they verify the quality control, they schedule, and they're inserting the database, which I believe is a CMMS. They're going to help schedule the work. So they're really doing a lot of this from start to finish. And on the CMMS, my memory's going back to this is a system that has been in place now for a little bit, and then it got an upgrade in order to help even have more options, even though the whole department wasn't up to speed, but in this division that they are. And now I thought we had a management analyst that was coming on board in order to help with the CMMS system, in addition to our staff. And now we're having a consultant also help in this because it's too technical.
Just to specify, this project will result in a searchable database, how the city can use this information. The CMMS is a management system which is up and running in sewer division. In the last started in 2008 for certain tasks. Most aggressively, the CMMS was implemented for proactive maintenance planning activity beginning of this last January of this year. The management analyst, even if the department had this management analyst in our budget for a few years now, the position wasn't authorized, and the department had our management analyst on board beginning 1 month ago. About 1 month ago. And yes, the consultant expertise is necessary to provide very highly technical support for this project, and it's our expectation that in time the department will be able to develop through training the skills necessary to provide higher level of support for those ongoing video inspection needs for the city.
Okay, so we got the CMMS, and I want to get off that. We'll save it for another time. And and obviously, there's already support that's required data-wise. You know, an ongoing annual. That we weren't. I wasn't fully aware of the cost, but I am now. And now the CMMS is still not, and we're having to have an outside consultant that's going to assist in this. I guess where I get concerned is that we bring on a program, as I've said before, we don't have it fully up in all the departments, we increase it. Now it's too technical, we need to bring in people to get us up to speed. I just get concerned with costs, that's the bottom line. On this consultant that you have here, has this person or this agency assisted us in other support efforts in the department?
Yes, they are the consultant who is helping us developing the private lateral policy also for the city.
So they're also doing that as well. Okay. I guess I get concerned, and I also know I kind of feel in a little bit of a box, in the sense that we have a deadline, and in a sense it's got to get done. But in essence, it costs more, and we need more assistance in order to get things in place. So I see it as almost a vicious circle of costs of consultants, which in effect go to the ratepayers. These are one of my concerns I have, and this is where some of the questions, and I know it's very technical, and I know it's not easy, and as you alluded to earlier, the SSOs are dramatically decreased without all of a lot of the stuff. It's going the right way, probably by managing the crews, getting them to the hot spots, doing the proactive things that we should and need to be doing. And with the credit of the staff, they are making progress. And they have come significantly than where we sat a couple years ago, in my opinion. And I think you alluded to that. So when we start having all these costs and all of these, I wonder if we're not, you know, to me, sometimes it's back to basics, getting the job done, making sure we have the means and to provide what the staff needs to get the job done. So sometimes I see we're getting all of this stuff. I understand some of it's required, but I think we're getting ahead of ourselves. I think we're getting into systems that we still continually need assistance, which causes us money and consultants. That's just my quick overview based on the staff report and what I've heard tonight.
Irene?
There's not much left to ask. I would like a clarification. You said at one point that, if I'm correct or not, if every 5 years we have to do the video, is that a state law? Is that what you said? Or I'm sorry, it got lost in all the...
The 5 years was included in our contract. That's how was the contract agreement with the contractor back in 2007.
Okay.
Also, it is a state requirement when the inspection needs to be done, and is included in our agreement with the baykeeper that the video inspection of the system should be done by June of this year.
Okay, and then when that is over, is there a state requirement that we have to do it again within a certain time period?
I have to, yes, it is, but I am not certain exactly what that requirement is. I would prefer to follow up with clarification on that aspect with how to answer your question.
Okay, thank you. And then my other question, kind of alluding to what the gentlemen were asking about, the program or all the data that we're going to receive and the expertise that the other companies, the consultants are bringing to us, are we training anyone in staff to deal with that? Because as we go forward and we make repairs, it's going to change what the data is. So are we looking forward to doing that, or is it cheaper to have a consultant come by once a year, or what's the thought of all that?
Would be my assumption that a certain degree of high expertise the city will need to be relying on an ongoing basis, time to times, just to make sure that the city will be up to the latest requirement. In the same time, right now, the management analyst who is on board is acting as a project manager in essence for this project, and working directly with the consultant, and then is working directly with the consultant, and it's our intent to really create that expertise in-house also. Will be our intent to provide also training to other classification in the city to have a better understanding, including at lead man level and other classification in sewer division about the industry standard, how they can use that information for preventive maintenance and to program and to plan the needed actions.
Okay. It's a lot, and there's a lot going on, but I think overall we're going in the right direction. There's a lot that we're playing catch up, basically. My little speech from last time about the 85 years that we basically did very little as a city, and now we're having to catch up. So I personally think we're going the right direction. Thank you.
Good. Anything else? I'd just like to say that the SSOs going down as much as they have is very gratifying. I just want to issue my frustration again regarding these cottage industries that are out there that are suing municipalities up and down the state of California, when the many hundreds of thousands of dollars that we've had to pay to outfits like the Baykeepers should be paying for these and should be increasing this project, but unfortunately it's not. So it's a frustrating situation, and going to work very hard from a legislative standpoint to see what we can do about that. So having said that, we do have 3 resolutions to adopt here. Would anyone like to introduce, or are there any more questions? Michael?
Through the chair, I was just going to comment, Council Member O'Connell's question prompted me. I remembered something that I had read, and I believe that the state requires us to have an action plan, but it does not specify specifically what needs to be in that action plan. But looking at what I read in terms of industry practices, they're the only 2 methods that are available to us in terms of doing physical evaluation is either crawling down there and looking at it or sending a camera in. And so, at least for this first go-around, it seems like video is the way to go. Going forward, I think we won't be forced to do this, but where we are forced to do it, I'm hoping that we do start developing some expertise. This is a great learning opportunity. I know that you guys are stretched pretty thin, but I think there's a lot of information to be gleaned by going through this process one time, and hopefully as we go forward bring more of this in-house. So with that comment, I will introduce the first resolution increasing the capital improvement project appropriation.
Councilmember Salazar.
Aye.
Councilmember O'Connell. Aye. Councilmember Medina.
Aye.
Mayor Ruane.
Aye.
Would you like to introduce one?
Authorizing the city manager to amend the contract with Relea, formerly JF Pacific Liners.
Councilmember O'Connell.
Aye.
Councilmember Medina.
Aye.
Councilmember Salazar.
Aye.
Mayor Ruane.
Aye. Here we go.
You want to do
I'm going to let the ladies go.
Okay. I'll introduce the third resolution, authorizing the city manager to approve a contract with Homes International in an amount not to exceed $97,000.
Councilmember O'Connell.
Aye.
Councilmember Medina.
Aye.
Councilmember Salazar.
Aye.
Mayor Ruane.
Aye.